Good day, everyone. It's great to be with you. My name is Rob Syke, and as mentioned, I'm a professional agrologist and a certified agricultural consultant. The founder of AgriTrend, a company that has over 250 people that work on the ground with farmers throughout North America and internationally. We help farmers with coaching. We help farmers with scientific integration. I have 30 PhDs and 58 masters in our organization, and a data platform that has nearly 70 million acres of data, so we understand farming. I've been blessed to travel around the world and work directly on the ground with farmers from places like Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Russia, down to Peru, Brazil, Argentina, all the way down to New Zealand and Australia, all throughout North America, Mexico, and most recently just arriving back from Kenya and Uganda. This is a picture of me working in the field doing a soil inventory in Kenya. You see, I have a question for you, and I'm going to use this picture as a metaphor. This is a woman and a child near Lodwar in the northeastern corner of Kenya. And it's a metaphor because we have to feed these people, and at the same time, we need technology. You notice in her hand, she has a cellular phone. And so my question to you is, do you believe that agriculture can feed 9 billion people? Do you believe that? That's not the real question. The real question is actually, will agriculture be allowed to feed 9 billion people? No different than walking up to her and ripping up the technology from her hands. We have people today, well-intentioned people, that intend on ripping technology away from those of us who are actually trying to grow food to feed the planet. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about, is pushing the boundaries of food production and maybe pushing your own boundaries with respect to your understanding. I'd like to introduce you to some people. Starting on your far left, that's Robert, a cassava farmer. Then we have Eric, and we have Samuel, who grows bananas. And of course, we have a girl who's blind, a young girl. What do all these people have in common? All of these people could be helped today with a technology that exists that's being withheld from them. You see, every one of these people could be helped with a genetically modified technology, genetically engineered technology that's being withheld from them. The girl is blind because, like 250,000 to 300,000 children every year that go blind of vitamin A deficiency, she can't get enough in her diet, which is primarily white rice. There's a solution. It's called golden rice. It's available for free to the poorest farmers on the planet. And yet it's been sitting on the shelf since 2002 while organizations like Greenpeace actively campaign against its release. The cassava crop is being attacked by a virus that renders the crop useless. That's the brown stuff in the middle. Well, you say, I don't know what cassava is. Well, if you ever had tapioca pudding, you've had cassava. The banana crops are being attacked by black sigatoka and bacterial wilt. And the corn crops in Kenya right now are being decimated by a lethal necrosis, a virus. And all of these could be helped today, right now, with a genetic engineered solution that's not being made available to them. But you really don't care. You're not there. You don't eat cassava and bananas all that much and don't really care about the corn full of mycotoxins. You say, it's not my problem. Well, you have a problem if you like orange juice. Do you like orange juice? How many of you enjoy orange juice? If you like orange juice, drink it now, because this year's Florida orange crop will be 20% less than it was the year before, that was less than the year before, because the oranges are being attacked by a citrus greening virus that's decimating the citrus groves, the orange groves in Florida. It's now moved into California. There is no cure. Unless we find something, we're hopeful that a genetic engineered cure will be available to it, which could save the orange crops, which coincidentally was the same cure that saved the papaya crops in Hawaii. You see, my concern is that fanaticism is causing suffering around the globe. And make no mistake, fanaticism has a lot to do with causes. Causes have a lot to do with money. You see, there's a lot of static out there, and most of you have been just hearing the static on this side, which is no, 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 while the other side has been silent. I'm here today to share some information with you. We seem to have poor priorities. The Economist magazine says that in 2013, the number of children under the age of 5 years old that died of malnutrition was 3.1 million children. Dead. The number of children who died from GMO, 0. You see, in the United States and Canada, we spend 7 to 9% of our disposable income on food. In Kenya, they spend 45% of their disposable income in food. It seems the less we spend on food, the more time we spend complaining about it. I believe that we are suffering from a first world problem called food paranoia. And we need to think carefully about this. I don't know how many of you have actually tried to grow 1,000 acres of canola, but it's hard work. If you punch in GMO images in Google, this is what you see. Now, I don't know what's wrong with these fruits and vegetables. For one thing, almost none of these are GMO crops. But maybe they're diabetic. Maybe they're diabetic. Because if you are diabetic today, or you know any relatives or friends who are diabetic, they are being kept alive with a GMO technology, GMO insulin. Humalog, Novolin are GMO technologies injected into their bodies every day, so they don't have to crush up pancreases from cows and cadavers and pigs, and they can have no side reaction. What are these people protesting against? Are they protesting against diabetics? Down with diabetics. Maybe they're protesting against hemophiliacs, because hemophiliacs, too, are helped with the GMO technology that helps to clot their blood. Do you think these people are protesting against that GMO? No. They're protesting against GMO use, genetic engineered use in food production. They're protesting, and their children are protesting. These kids on the step are saying, down with Monsanto. I bet you these kids don't even know who Monsanto is. Well, who is Monsanto? Monsanto is a $14.8 billion company that sells seed and crop protection products to their customers. Who are their customers? Farmers. Monsanto speaks positively about GMO technology to their customers. Their customers, farmers, represent less than 2% of the population, maybe 1.5% of the population in North America. Monsanto's a big company. Whole Foods is a big company. It's $13 billion. And Whole Foods speaks negatively about GMO technology. And they speak negatively about GMO technology to their customers, and their customers are the other 98% of us not involved in growing crops. And when I speak like this, they say I'm shilling. I don't sell fertilizer, chemical, or seed. But as I look at pictures like on the left, I'm wondering who's shilling for who, and how did they get their information? What's the difference between these two peppers? Well, other than 30 feet in the grocery store, the answer is $250,000. Because if you feed your family the basket on the right, which, by the way, is 65% more money, you'll spend an average of a family of four of $250,000 more to take your kids as they graduate from high school. That's more money you'll spend on groceries. My research has shown that we'll spend anywhere from 30 to 300% more on an organic food basket. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against organic food. You can buy it if you want to. But just because you can afford to pay 30 to 300% more to support your food philosophy, does that give us the right to condemn those who can't? Well, apparently it does. On November the 12th, the millionaire fashion designer Vivienne Westwood presented an anti-GMO petition to the British government. Afterwards, when asked, what are the poor people supposed to do who can't afford to eat organic food, she said they should simply eat less. Quote unquote. You see, I'm here today to tell you that I believe the anti-science movement is the biggest threat to global food security today. The voices of science are being drowned out by the voices of fear and paranoia. First world activism, and I would go so far as to say elitism, is hurting the poorest people on the planet, the Roberts, the Erics, the Samuels. If we are going to need science, we're going to need all the science, including GMO science, if we're going to feed 9.6, 10 billion people. And we should be celebrating agricultural successes instead of vilifying it. We should be celebrating the fact that you can connect. In this room, you can connect with local farmers that produce the food, and you can have a relationship with them, and you should celebrate that. You should celebrate the fact that you have the freedom to buy organic if you choose to buy into that, and good for you. Make no mistake, if the world went to organic food production today, you would have to say goodbye to 2 to 3 billion people on the planet. It's not able to feed the planet. We should celebrate fertilizer. Take a deep breath with me. You just breathed in 78% nitrogen. And it's the Haber-Bosch process that's 101 years old right now that produces fertilizer from inert nitrogen that we breathe and fixes it into fertilizer. And it's estimated that right now on the planet, every single human being, every one of you, owes at least half of your protein in your body to fertilizer. And if we didn't have fertilizer, we wouldn't be able to feed the planet. We should celebrate pesticides. Now, that's really strange, right? Celebrate pesticides. Because if you took pesticides away from the farmers of the world today, food production would drop 42% overnight. Today's pesticides are more specific. We're putting on less of them. They're more targeted. And this science just keeps getting better and better over time. And we should celebrate pesticides. We should celebrate genetic engineering and all the remarkable things that it's done for us and will continue to do for us in the future, if we could wrap our heads around it and get out of the rhetoric. I have something to ask you that's very important. Could the future of food be GMO? Could the future of food be genetically modified organic food production? See, the organic movement started to reduce synthetic pesticides and reduce the dependence on fertilizer. And it's genetic engineering that would allow us to do that. Genetic engineering would allow us to have plants that extract nutrients better and fight insects and diseases. So here's the question. When did the organic movement become the anti-GMO movement? And why? Follow the dollars. It's big money. You go into the organic section, you start looking at the stuff. I love this one here, organic sugar. Somehow organic sugar is better for you than non-organic sugar. Organic water, one of my favorites. Organic salt, non-GMO salt, to be combined with your non-GMO paving stones. You'll see the linking together of organic with anti-GMO and all that stuff kind of comes together all the time. And this is amazing. This is one of the prettiest non-GMO crops I've ever seen in agriculture. I don't know what they're spraying on it, but man, is it beautiful. See, there's label spin. What is a GMO? Even if I asked you today, because I haven't said it today yet, what is a GMO? Most of you couldn't actually articulate it. Just bad. Natural. What's natural? You know what natural is? Natural is a $290 billion business. That's what natural is, $290 billion. Organic is a $63 billion business. These chips are organic, gluten-free, non-GMO, kosher, non-baked, non-fried, and vegan, and they only cost $7.99 for 3 ounces. Who could afford this? Is there any food in there? I want to eat organic because I want to avoid the chemicals. Well, this is a picture of a crop in Kenya. Do you know what this is? This is chrysanthemums. Do you know what they're harvesting? Organic pyrethrin. That's where we make organic pesticides from. See, the green bars represent organic pesticides. Organic pesticides, oh my God, well, there's pyrethrin. And there's Roundup, it's on the top. Glyphosate's on top. And there's BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. It's used in organic production. It's bacteria sprayed on the crop, so when the bugs or the caterpillars and the worms eat it, because they've got alkaline guts, it explodes their guts and it protects the crop. It's the same technology that's in BT corn and BT soybeans that everybody is so upset about. Our guts are acid. We just mobilize, we just denature that stuff. It's amazing technology. I want to eat organic because it's not genetically modified. Well, I got news for you. Everything has been modified. Carrots in nature are white. They've been bred to have beta-carotene, and the latest carrots are kind of reddish in color because they're high in anthocyanin or antioxidants. Genetic engineering is nothing more, nothing less than a progression on the breeding technology. You see, conventional breeding, the cross-pollination or hybridization of crops, takes years to achieve the mutation we're looking for. Notice the word I use, mutation. Because when we cross-breeding, we're actually looking for a mutation that has a positive attribute that we breed out. Conventional breeding will affect anywhere between 10,000 and 300,000 gene pairs. There's no safety testing required, and it can come to the marketplace, and no long-term testing required. Mutagenesis, well, this is interesting. This is where you take seeds and bombard them with nuclear radiation or subject them to carcinogenic chemicals. It's about creating the mutation faster. There's no knowing how many gene pairs are affected. No safety testing, no long-term trials resulted, and over 2,400 organic crops today owe their origin to mutagenesis, including the Rio Red grapefruit. RNAi technology is moving into the biotech world, and it's about targeted gene silencing, usually involving 1 to 2 gene pairs, and its safety testing is extensive before it can be approved. An example of that is Arctic apples, which are GMO RNAi technology. We cut the apples open and they resist browning, so they'll stay white for a long, long time instead of you having to spray like citric acid on them. It's an amazing technology. Or transgenic technology, the specific insertion of desired genes from a donor into a host plant is site-specific, usually involving 1 to 4 gene pairs. Extensive safety testing required, and the latest one that came out in just the last couple weeks is the innate potato. The innate potato is a potato that resists bruising, saving thousands of tons of wastage. And if you overcook your potato, this innate potato won't turn into acrylamides. Because if you overcook your French fries, and you like those crispy French fries, they're full of acrylamides, and that's a naturally occurring carcinogen. This should be flying off the shelf. The main conclusion from 130 research projects covering over 25 years of information involving independent research groups is that biotech and GMO per se is not any more dangerous than conventional breeding. And that list is the National Academy of Sciences, the Royal Society of Medicine, the European Commission, American Council on Science and Health, American Academy of Nutrition, Diets, and it goes on and on and on. None of that seems to be good enough. We should be celebrating today's farmers. They produce 262% more food than in 1950 with 2% fewer inputs than 1950. Canola, that's where I started my career. We used to put pounds on ground, a pre-emergent herbicide, and work it into the soil. Today, canola is now 20 million acres in our country. The toxicity load is way down from what it used to be. Yields are up from 21 to 38 bushels, soil erosion down 66%. We're using 26% less greenhouse gases because we don't till the ground, and it contributes $19 billion to our economy. Ontario data is pretty good on herbicides, so I had my researchers pull some data. You see, Ontario cropland hasn't changed. Crop yields of corn, though, have gone up from 92 to 156, or 69% increase, while look at the load of herbicides. Herbicides has dramatically dropped, and this includes Roundup. In the United States, I had some researchers pull data out of the US. Herbicide use is way down, and what you're looking at here is organophosphates and carbamates. You take away BT technology, these ones are going to go back up again, and these ones are toxic, way more toxic to people, the environment. Corn yields. This is the American corn yield. Since biotech has been introduced, it's gone even more exponential in terms of growth, and the world record this year for corn yield was 454 bushels an acre on corn. European Union doesn't have GMOs. Their growth rate of corn yield is much more linear and much lower than our yield in North America. And look at South America. I was just down in Brazil. Brazil corn yields have increased 400% with 43%, only 43% more land. 400% with only 43% more land being used. You see, GMO technology in Brazil is not resulting in the destruction of the rainforest, contrary to what you'll see. It's saving the rainforest, because in tropical and semi-tropical soils, if you till the land, which you would have to do without GM technology, you're going to erode this at a rapid rate. It's like putting soil in a microwave oven. It's time to know GMO. It's time for you to understand that there is a benefit to this technology, and there are more benefits coming. Saline resistance, drought tolerance, heat resistance, resistance against fungi, bacteria, viruses. increased nutrient utilization. All sorts of things are promising to come down the pipeline. So, do you believe that agriculture can feed 9 billion people? Do you think we can do it? You decide. Thank you.